What would have happened if Jeffy actually inherited his father's money on his 18th birthday, which was hyped up for so long? In SML movie Jeffy's Parents, Jeffy's mom was arrested and taken to prison, and Marvin had to choose the difficult decision to either adopt Jeffy or let him go to a foster home. And although they've had bad memories in the past, he ultimately decided to take Jeffy in, as he loved Jeffy and probably thought of him as his own son. And now that Marvin is the legal guardian of Jeffy, Brooklyn Guy gives a piece of paper to Mario that he found in Nancy's purse, which he recognizes and gets the other missing side of the paper, and in the paper it was revealed that Jeffy's dad is Jacques-Pierre Francois, the world-renowned painter who made millions of dollars off of his paintings, which inevitably, because he took it way too far, is what resulted in his death. But apparently he left all of his money to his son, who was unknown at the time, but now that it's said that Jeffy was his unknown son, that means he would receive millions of dollars. However, Jeffy would have to wait until he was 18 to inherit all the money. So until then, Marvin took care of Jeffy. But if Jeffy did receive his trust fund, then I wouldn't be making this video. And it turned out on Jeffy's 18th birthday that Jacques-Pierre Francois was alive and was actually lying to everybody just to make more money. But what would have happened if Jeffy did receive the trust fund that day? Would his life have completely changed, or would it stay the same? Well, let's go over what would happen if he actually inherited that money, from what would happen in his family to how Jeffy would change and other things. And I want to give a thank you to Aidenosaurus Rex and It's Vicky's Universe for the idea. Comment any more ideas down in the comments and hopefully I'll use it. The first thing that would most certainly have happened if Jeffy received the trust fund was that his father would have actually died rather than faking his death, because you know the reason Jeffy didn't get the money is because Jacques actually faked it. But something that could happen is that if Jeffy were to receive the money, maybe he would take his father's place as a painter, which is kinda unrelated to the money itself. But if Jeffy received the trust fund and Jacques was truly deceased, Jeffy could potentially step into his dad's role as an artist. And as we know, Jeffy is very good at drawing, and he could use that to make a lot of money. And if he has money in the beginning when he inherits it, then he'd be able to, like, you know, promote his paintings, put it in a museum maybe, and then he could start his career as a painter. But also, if Jeffy received the trust fund on his 18th birthday, it's possible that his video, Jeffy's 18th birthday, would have ended completely differently. Because in the video, Nancy and Screwball teamed up to kidnap Jeffy, but instead they kidnapped Marvin, mistaking him for Jeffy. And to get Marvin back, they had to trade Jeffy for Marvin, but immediately chased after Nancy to save Jeffy. However, if Jeffy had received the trust fund, there's a chance he would have lost all his money immediately after getting it. Because if they wanted to get Marvin back, Nancy could have returned him if she would receive some money in return. And a lot of you might be thinking that, nah, Jeffy would keep his money, but there have been many instances of videos where a character gets some kind of power or becomes rich, only to lose their power or riches by the end of the video, probably in order that their personality doesn't change for the rest of, you know, all the SML movies. For example, Joseph was rich in one video, but at the end he makes Junior forget everything with like a Men in Black device, and everything goes back to normal, which I don't know if that's even ethical. You think it's ethical to use that kind of thing? Leave it down in the comments. And so the same thing could happen if Jeffy became rich, because if he was rich, you know, he just had all his money, they might move to a bigger house, Jeffy might actually indulge in a lot of riches for himself, and then, you know, go down that spiral of having too much money, and then you realize money is not worth anything. Or they could find a loophole to, you know, have Jeffy stay rich, but in reality, I think what they would do to resolve the situation would be that Nancy would most likely have taken the money and run away to live a better life, leaving Jeffy with nothing. However, if Nancy did get his money, it would probably mean that Nancy would have never died or have come back on Jeffy's 19th birthday. Unless, of course, she spent all of her money and had a new plan to make even more money from her son, which honestly could be expected. And another thing that could happen if Jeffy received the trust fund is that it could have ruined his relationship with Marvin. Unlike Jeffy's real parents, Marvin and Rose actually take care of Jeffy, but sometimes there are problems that they go through. For example, in Jeffy's 18th birthday, Marvin was a lot more kind to Jeffy than normal, getting him many balloons, letting him do whatever he wants, and etc. But as soon as he found out that Jeffy's dad was alive this whole time, his mood completely changed.
Oh wow, Marvin. Good thing it wasn't about the money, otherwise you'd be really upset right now, huh?
Hey!
He's not getting any of the money! I'm taking the Jeffy outfit off and throwing the cake away and popping out the
From being happy that he might have gotten a piece of Jeffy's money to being angry. But at the end of the video, he did apologize to Jeffy and showed a side of him that we rarely see.
I wish I could just hear him do that annoying sound one more time.
Marvin, that was a really good impression.
What? That wasn't me. I thought it was you.
What?
Don't be sad, Daddy. It's not like you had to walk 50 miles in the dark getting eaten by mosquitoes on your birthday.
What? Jeffy, you're alive! We love you so much, Jeffy!
But if Jeffy did get the trust fund, it's possible it would cause a huge fight between them. For example, Jeffy could receive the money, and with greed, Marvin would ask Jeffy if he could have some, expecting him to say yes, but maybe Jeffy would say no, which could then lead to Marvin getting angry and maybe even kick Jeffy out of the house. But what I'm hoping is that at the end of the video, they would hug it out, apologize to each other, and realize that if you put money as your god, it's gonna lead to a very, very bad life. And what matters in reality is each other, their relationship with each other. However, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we would get a video or two of Jeffy depending on himself, you know, trying to be an adult, because maybe let's say Marvin kicked him out, or Jeffy realized that he could move out with that kind of money. Maybe he would buy a whole bunch of crazy things. But for 2 years already, Jeffy as an adult has continued to live the same lifestyle that he has for years, going to school with his friends and pretty much just being himself. And despite being capable of moving out, he still lives with Marvin and Rose. And there's not really a problem with that because he is mentally disabled, but if he had the millions of dollars, he might want to move out on his own. And Marvin did have plans to kick Jeffy out when he heard that Jacques-Pierre Francois was still alive. But after coming back from what seemed to be death, Mario told Jeffy that he can stay in the house as long as he wants because he can't imagine life without him.
Jeffy, listen, I know you're 18, but you don't have to move out of the house. You can stay here as long as you want because I can't imagine life without you because I've gotten so used to you. I know I was mad at you today on your birthday, but that was just because I thought we were getting money, but I don't care about the money. I just want you, Jeffy. I love you so much.
Love you too, Mommy and Daddy, but I didn't plan on going anywhere.
And this, of course, was so that, you know, they could keep making Jeffy videos without the problem of Jeffy having to move out, which would then change the format of the videos. But if Jeffy got his trust fund, he could realize that he doesn't really have to obey his parents anymore and he can move out of the house and be his own man. But with his mental problems, I don't know if that's the wisest idea, but it seems that he'll be able to because he can drive, which shows that he is somewhat responsible, although, you know, when we see him drive, he is very irresponsible. But maybe legally he could get a house in the SML universe. And for him, at first, maybe everything will seem great. Jeffy can live by himself with millions of dollars. He can eat something other than green beans, which honestly seems like abuse from Marvin. And he could have all the fun that he wants without Marvin telling him no and keeping him from trouble. But with no consistent income coming in, Jeffy could spend all of his money, later going back to Marvin and Rose to live with them again, and everything could go back to normal. And it seems that a lot of things would change if Jeffy did receive the trust fund when he turned 18. From Jacques actually being dead, Jeffy's relationship with his family falling apart, and Nancy could successfully get the money. But something you can learn from this video is to never be too greedy, and a lot of the characters that I mentioned are greedy and would rather ruin their relationship with their son. However, that doesn't go a long way. Look at Nancy. For example, she was greedy and got into a whole heap of trouble in Jeffy's 18th birthday and 19th birthday. And so if you could learn something from an SML video, love your family, not riches. If you start to have problems with your family over money, it just goes to show that you both value money more than each other. And even then, don't involve money with your family. It's generally not smart to do so. But let me know down in the comments anything else you think would happen if Jeffy got the trust fund. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and click on this video here.